Hey guys, welcome back to our channel.
Today we're going to be talking about why raw vegan is the best for the environment, your health, and the animals.
My name's Sean, and here at the Raw Vegan Revival, I'm a juice fast coach, a raw food nutrition coach, and an expert on tattoo health and longevity.
And my name's Kat, and I am also a raw food nutrition coach, as well as a somatic embodiment coach and an expert in tattoo health and longevity.
If anything we have to say today resonates with you guys, if you're just trying to figure out how to incorporate more plants into your diet for better health, make sure you grab our freebie. It's called The Raw Truth, and we'll put the link below.
All right, so first things first is that raw plant foods contain their own enzymes, which really help you to digest the food and assimilate the nutrients into your body. And when you eat predominantly like cooked foods, cooked oils, processed foods, animal products, those things have little to no enzymes in them, which make them very dry, very dense, very hard to digest. And honestly, they're lacking the bioavailable nutrients that you could be getting if you're eating more like plant-based raw lifestyle kind of thing. And yeah, that eating those kind of foods being so dense, dry, and really hard to digest, that's going to slow down your digestion. That's going to really increase the toxic load of your body and increase inflammation, and it's just not good. Cooking also destroys between 30 to 50% of all water-soluble vitamins. So these are vitamins like vitamin C and vitamin B, like the B and C vitamins. But yeah, it also destroys enzymes and stuff too when you cook it. It just takes out all of the volatile nutrients and all the volatile things in the foods that you're trying to eat. It basically destroys all of the goodness in the food and really makes it dead food. A raw diet increases your amount of plasma antioxidants by about 21%, according to the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition from 2011.
Yeah, like Kat said, enzymes are so important, and we are made up of what we eat. Our cells literally are made up of the foods we eat, and we believe if you feed it good, living, nutrient-dense, or species-specific food, which is plant foods, we're going to become the best humans we can be. Next is inflammation. Inflammation is a huge culprit to problems we have as humans. Disease and chronic illness has a lot to do and is related to inflammation. Now, all the plant foods, raw plant foods, are anti-inflammatory. That's the magic of the raw vegan diet, and that's why we like to say it's the best, and it's also the species-specific diet, is because all these foods reduce inflammation. They're anti-inflammatory. What foods cause inflammation? These are the animal products. These are the processed foods, the cooked oils, the cooked foods even. They cause inflammation in the body. And like we said, those are going to cause disease and stuff down the line. So like there's some statistics out. You can double check it. But plant-based eaters actually have about a 30% less chance of heart disease and stroke. And those are some of the biggest things that we're suffering from as humans right now, are heart disease and stroke. So that's all due to diet and inflammation. If we eat more living plant foods, it's going to bring the inflammation down. And that actually just allows our body to do its natural processes. And in doing that, we remove toxins, we're not inflamed, and the body works better, and disease just doesn't live in the body.
A plant-based diet also reduces your C-reactive protein, which is one of the main markers for inflammation. It drops your C-reactive protein between 30 and 40% just by consuming plant foods. So now we're just getting into gut health, and that gut health is really the seat of your overall health. We talk about this all the time, and when your gut thrives on fiber and the only place that you can get fiber is from plants, that says a lot. And especially because the microbiome in your gut thrives on the different variety and the abundance of plant fibers that you consume, the more plant fibers that you're eating, the greater variety of microbes you're going to have in your gut, which essentially is going to lead to you being healthier overall, because your health is really measured by the amount of microbes in your gut, and it's measured by a lot of things, but the amount of microbes in your gut is definitely one of those things. And so to increase the good bacteria, you have to be able to eat more, or you have to be able to eat a lot of plant fiber. So that's important. And there are such thing as bad bacteria too, bad microbes that live in your gut, and those things feed on things like cooked oils, animal products, and processed foods. And so if you find yourself having gut issues, health issues, or even mental struggles like depression, anxiety, anything like that, 9 times out of 10, it's going to trace back to your gut and the food that you're eating. If your diet is full of predominantly animal products, processed foods, things like that, your you're not going to have the best health. Yeah, and your gut health is also connected, yes, to your mental health, but it's also connected intrinsically to your immune system. So those good microbes, the more good microbes you have, the healthier your mind's going to be, and also the stronger your immune system's going to be. So it's just a win-win overall. So you really want to build up your gut microbes and your gut microbiome and make it really strong.
So these are just some of the reasons raw vegan is the best physically, like for our physical benefits. So the enzymes, yeah, like have you ever been really tired after you eat food? We used to be after 2 years. Those enzymes help break our food down and digest it further, so it makes our body not work as hard. And in doing that, we don't feel fatigued after we eat a meal. You actually get a lot of energy. This is what we're supposed to this is how we're supposed to feel after we eat food as humans, is energetic. But if we're eating the wrong foods without enzymes or fiber, then we don't get that type of energy. We don't feel it. We don't feel the vitality. Now, being 2 years raw vegan, we can honestly say raw vegans have more vitality. They have better energy, better skin, nails, hair, better focus and clarity. And we've experienced all this since going raw vegan. And really, this is just because you're cutting out the toxic foods. These toxic foods really, like Kat said, our gut's connected to our brain, and these toxic foods will muddy our gut. You have bad gut microbiome, and our gut helps control the way our brain works. Like our brain works accordingly to our gut. So it's kind of like as above, so below. What you feed your gut, you feed your brain. And we believe that, your thoughts create your reality. So if you have dark, gloomy, ugly thoughts due to a dark, bad microbiome full of like toxic foods and stuff, then you may have a reality that's not the best it can be. And that's why we say you find alignment with raw food, because when you start incorporating these high vibrational energetic foods in your life, you start aligning with more higher vibrational events, and your thoughts become better, your focus becomes better. And these are all things we've definitely experienced, and it's makes sense when you realize that, hey, like we should be eating these anti-inflammatory foods. We should be eating these antioxidants and phytonutrients. This is what our body craves and it actually desires. And really, we are our own healers. Our bodies want to heal all the time. You just have to give it the right fuel, and then our lymphatic system can work properly and detox all the waste out. And that's when we feel the best and operate the best.
So if you've been liking what you're seeing so far, make sure to like and subscribe so you can see more content like this, and it really helps our channel out and helps us get our message out to more people. If you think about the amount of land that it takes to house 80 billion land animals, which are like thousands of pounds each, a lot of them, like speaking of the cows, obviously, but they take up a lot of space, and not to mention their food that they consume. You also have to have an abundance of land for that, which the food that we grow, most of the agricultural land in America is to feed our livestock. So if you think about how ridiculous that is, and how it's like the biggest companies in the world, the biggest agricultural industries in the world are literally destroying the world and taking up so much space that it doesn't even allow us to really properly grow enough fruits and vegetables to like feed everybody. Because if we switched over all of that land that is being used to grow like corn and stuff that isn't even for us, and just made it so you can grow an abundance of different fruits and vegetables on a plot of land that can feed hundreds of thousands of people. I mean, that seems like a pretty obvious switch to me, but I don't know. And also think of it this way. It's like one cow takes between, like, I don't know the exact numbers, okay? Don't at me, but it takes a lot of land. It takes, like, I would guess at least a half an acre to an acre of land to comfortably house one animal, one cow. And that half an acre to an acre of land could be used to grow so much food. Like you can literally feed one person, one whole family off of an acre of land for an entire year or more. So just the comparison there is ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree with you, Kat. That could be such a simple change if people like woke up to the idea that, hey, we could just grow our own food. We wouldn't have to outsource all these fruits and vegetables. We could grow them here if we just switched over the land and used it for food for us instead of food for the animals, which we all know now are actually hurting us and causing us to have poor health. And really, it's just all about the money. Like they kind of want us to eat these animals so that we get sick, so that we have to rely on the medical system to give us pills until the day we die, and we live a shorter life, and we don't get into alignment. We don't find our purpose. We don't really give our gifts to the world because we're kind of just muddied down and kept at a lower vibration because we haven't had living foods as available source for us to eat. We haven't, right? Because we have been eating these lower vibrational animals, and it's been hurting us as a human, or it's been hurting us as humanity, and also hurting the earth, because we keep going on this way, and the earth needs to replenish, the soil needs to replenish so that it can be vibrant and living again, and we can grow abundance of fruits and vegetables, which is what we really need to operate on. And it could be just that simple.
Yeah, that's unfortunately very true. Everything's always about money. And what is one thing that you can't really make money on? Fruits and vegetables. You never see like advertisements for fruits and vegetables. You never see anybody promoting, oh, go eat a salad on TV. It's like you just don't see it because that's not where the money is. The money is in the medication, the money is in the meat and the dairy and the blah, 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 all the animal products. And that's how it's been for hundreds of years. And so that's what we're trying to break out of right now. A plant-based diet also saves about 200 animals per person per year. So if you're eating standard American diet, roughly you're eating 200 animals a year. And this is a study from the Journal of Environmental Science and Policy from 2018. The amount of animal product consumption and animal consumption is on the rise, really. It just gets higher and higher, and it directly correlates with the rise in chronic illness and chronic inflammation and all of these things and all of these new pills and stuff to help fix these things that are popping up that have never happened before. Like, you know, hers, for apparently, like, females are now losing their hair. Why? Probably because their diets are awful. It's like everybody is experiencing health issues that they didn't used to experience, or they never thought they would experience, or at least they're experiencing them 10 to 15 years earlier than they, expected to or should be, or, whatever. It's like we're putting ourselves in a position of like demise, pretty much. We're destroying ourselves by eating this way. And it's showing, it's glaringly obvious when you look at the numbers and you look at just everybody and how they're suffering from day to day.
So a plant-based diet actually creates 70% less emissions. So it's really good for the environment, a smaller carbon footprint. It actually takes like 1,800 gallons of water to create 1 pound of beef. And how many pounds of beef are people eating? A lot. So imagine all the waste that is accumulated from animal products, making these processed foods, the transportation, the keeping these cooked vegan foods and frozen foods in the refrigerated section. All this stuff really isn't needed on a raw vegan diet because we're eating produce just fresh from the ground, from the trees, from the water, wherever it's grown. And it's a lot less detrimental to the environment. And that's what we need. The environment's been kind of punished by us for so many decades and hundreds of years. And we can kind of like turn this around if we just eat a little differently. And the cool thing is it helps us, but it also helps the environment. So it's like a win-win for all avenues. And for a pound of fruits and vegetables, it only takes 40 to 100 gallons of water. So compare that to the 1,800 for a pound of ground beef. I mean, come on, like that's glaringly contrast. That's a lot of glaring contrast right there, like big to little. Like it's very obvious that if we just went plant-based, we would save a lot on the environment. So a lot of these people driving EV cars and Teslas and stuff, like, yeah, that's great, but you can do a lot more if you just change the way you eat, because the way we eat and what we support with what we eat is really going to have an effect on the earth. A big time.
And the animal agriculture industry is responsible for at least 60% of the greenhouse gas emissions. So that's huge. And that was stated in Science magazine in 2018. So yeah, 60% of greenhouse gas emissions from farm agriculture. That's crazy. So I mean, hey, if you got an electronic vehicle, try eating a veggie burger too. I mean, up your impact there a little bit, because honestly, 60%, that's most of it coming from animal agriculture. So, I mean, that says it all. Most of our food comes packaged in plastic nowadays, but you have significantly less packaging when it comes to raw fruits and vegetables, as opposed to like a frozen pizza or, like something like that, like a frozen Beyond Burger or anything. And not to mention the refrigeration necessary to transport it to the grocery store and all of that stuff. It's like significantly more when it comes to frozen processed foods, processed vegan foods, animal products, and things like that.
Yeah, she's right. 2 years raw vegan, and we've drastically noticed a difference. Like make like have we make like 50% less trash. Like we compost and recycle. We did that before, but now that we're raw vegan, we just don't create that much trash because our stuff doesn't come packaged in a bunch of extra plastic and boxes, and that makes a huge difference. Simplicity and connection to nature. This is huge, and this is what you get when you eat raw vegan. Raw vegan is undenatured. When we cook our food or we process it or put it in a can or freeze it, it's denatured. The nature is stripped from it, at least a little bit, sometimes more depending on what you do to it. But when we eat raw vegan, our food is undenatured. It has life force energy in it. It's the closest to nature. We're following natural laws here. It's like what all the other animals do. You don't see other animals out there suffering with baldness, overweight, diabetes. And if they are, they're probably our pets, which we're feeding food close to what we're eating, processed foods and stuff like that. And then now we're giving these diseases to our pets. But if you follow natural law, what's going out there, like just in the jungles and nature, the deserts, what animals are doing, they all eat their food raw. All animals eat their food raw, depending on what kingdom they're from. We are more close to like, chimpanzees. We eat fruit. We're supposed to be more like frugivores, vegetable eaters. And the proof is all right there. But when you eat close to nature, you get the best results. So your body's always wanting to heal. We just have to give it the right stuff. The reason we have all these issues and stuff is because we're putting in the wrong foods. We're eating these foods that we've been kind of brainwashed to eat and told to eat and accustomed to eat. And we get hooked on them because our microbiome gets addicted, and it's like a vicious cycle. We just want more of that thing. But that thing is not serving us. We're loving foods that don't love us back. We're loving foods that give us heart disease and stroke, but we need to switch that around, and we can really start to love the foods that love us back. And when you do that, the earth loves you back because you're creating less havoc, less destruction here on earth by just eating what the earth wants to feed us the whole time, which is the raw plants and vegetables right here in full abundance right in front of us. But like Kat said, there's no money in it. So they're not advertising apples on TV. You don't see movie stars promoting salads on TV. They're drinking Coke and Pepsi. That's all for a reason.
Raw diets also reduce oxidative stress and increase telomere length. And that's been something that's been studied very recently. And it's actually really interesting because the telomeres are at the ends of our DNA strands. And so usually, like when you're going through life, getting older, eating, the standard foods, those telomere ends tend to break off and your DNA gets shorter. And so that leads to aging, that leads to wrinkles, gray hair, just essentially your body breaking down. It leads to disease, and it even leads to disease that you can pass down to your kids. So these telomeres are a big deal. And so when you switch to even just a plant-based diet, those telomeres begin to grow again. So when you switch to a raw diet, they grow even faster. You have a lot of untapped potential. We only tap into like 10 to 12%, maybe even less of our brain. And so with these telomeres lengthening, who knows? Like the possibilities are endless, really. High raw food intake is also associated with a 30% decrease in cognitive decline. So that means you're just going to be sharper, more mental clarity. The older that you get, you're not going to have to worry about dementia or Alzheimer's or anything like that. Populations with high raw food consumption, like Okinawans or Seventh-day Adventists, live longer and healthier lives. This is Blue Zone research from 2019. So, that's huge. Those people and if you look into it, those people live like upwards of like over 100 years old easily. But they also eat a lot of raw food. They don't eat all raw food, but they eat a lot of raw food. And I think that and your environment and like your mental health, it all leads to, your quality of life, your length of life. So if you liked what we had to say here today, we would love to have you in our membership community, the Raw Health Collective. That is where we are in there every day, giving daily pocket coachings, doing one-on-ones with everyone, and sharing recipes. Everything, our healing protocols, action plans, everything is in there that you need. Hundreds of raw recipes, monthly challenges, all of the good stuff to get you connected, keep you inspired, and keep you on the path to your healthier, raw, plant-based life. It's not just for raw vegans, it's for anybody who wants to incorporate more raw plants into their day, into their life, and just increase their quality of life. We'll see you there.
Quick summary on today's video. Basically, raw vegan is the best. It's not just the best for us physically, it's best for the world, it's best for the environment, it's best for all those things. It's like the best trifecta for all three things. It's good for the animals, us, and the planet. Living foods are full of enzymes and phytonutrients. These things actually make us live longer. It makes our bodies work less to digest them. It gives us more energy. It fights fatigue. The fatigue and stuff is just from eating dehydrated, cooked foods, animal products, basically foods we aren't meant to eat. And it slows our digestion down. The food sits in there, it ferments, it creates disease. We have problems. We rely on the medical system, which really doesn't solve anything. So if you want to pull yourself out of all that, the cooked food matrix, like we like to say, go raw vegan. You're going to experience like a whole nother type of life. You find alignment, you find purpose, and honestly, the universe works with you because you're eating so much nature. You're incorporating nature in your cells, your blood, your body, and you're going to get results from that. You just are. And when you cut out the toxic and inflammatory foods, which are basically all the processed and animal foods, and all raw vegan foods are anti-inflammatory, that's pretty much your answer right there. And the emissions are way less statistically. Like raw vegans put way less stress on the environment in all ways, down to water consumption, down to land usage, down to transportation of goods, all the things. But it's pretty obvious that eating more plant-based is going to lead to a better world and a better you. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you like and subscribe. Also follow us on our other social medias, TikTok and Instagram.
At the Raw Vegan Revival.
Until next time, peace.
Bye.